First of all, I can barely see you. I got lazy and I didn't feel like punching out more of those letters, but I really wanted this sign to say dyed eggs in this economy, but I didn't feel like punching out the rest of the letters, so now it just says dyed eggs. Dear goodness. Let's get into it. Take 106. What's good, peacemakers? Welcome back to another episode of the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. The lights are in my glasses. My name is Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. If you would like to find me on other social media, you can do so by following me over on Instagram and Blue Sky and the Storygraph as Piece4PeaceCrafting. If you want to follow me over on Ravelry, it's Piece4PeaceCraft. And if you like music, and you would like to follow along to the silly little playlist that goes with this podcast, you can do so over on Spotify as Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast Playlist. If you have trouble finding the playlist, shoot me a message over on Instagram and I will be glad to send it to you. Y'all, it has been just under, barely 2 weeks since the last time we've chatted. And I gotta say, there has been things happening. So, I don't even remember what the last time I got with you was all was yarn. It was YarnCon, right? The tale of the fleece. I actually appreciate so many of you who were in the comments being like, oh my God, I love this journey for you. That's absolutely hilarious. I thought you were going to say you actually bought an alpaca, which you're not. Oh my God, there's fiber all over me. You're not wrong. And since the last time I recorded and I was with you all, did I go on Beyonce's internet and start looking for fleeces that have already been washed to purchase? Yes. Do I have a way to process these fleeces? No. That is the kind of wool shenanigans that we get on with around these parts. If this is your first time, I don't really say this usually, but if this is your first time joining, welcome. If you are into the silliness that's happening here, please feel free to do all that fun YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that silly little bell. Everything that I talk about will be linked down below. And if you are coming back, buckle up, buttercup. Here we go. Okay, I don't actually have too much to chat with you all about this episode, because if I'm being honest, I worked on a secret testnet that by the time this goes out, it'll probably be the thing that I was working on will be coming out between this episode and the next episode, and so on the next episode, I'll just show you what that was. I usually get a little bit annoyed when people say that, but not really. It's within good reason too, right? Because it's like the rest of the stuff that I have to show you, you're like, oh my gosh, you didn't do very much in 2 weeks, but I was also working on something else that I had to finish in a week. So that took precedent. But other than that, the only other thing that I've been working on is I've been a little bit monogamous on, and so I have that to show you as well. Okay, first off, right off the bat, let's start with, it's just absolute wool everywhere. Let's start with our pass along. So in the last episode, I showed you all these two beautiful sister bags that I wanted to pass along to you all. And so I have people submitted. I think there was 50 something submissions over on Ravelry, which I think that's a lot. And so I pulled randomly. I just asked my phone, hey girl, pick a number between 2 and whatever the last number was. And she told me a number. And so here we are. So the winner of the Hillary bag is going to be, I don't know if this is really your name, but I'm going to pronounce it like it's a name. But your name's Kim. But your Ravelry name is Koviljka, Koviljka. I'm saying that's Koviljka. I hope it's your last name, and I hope I'm close to saying it properly. If not, I hope you're having a good laugh about it. So reach out to me. Actually, I'm going to reach out to you over on Ravelry. And then I just need your address, and I can pop this in the mail this week. And then the Heather bag is going to go to DB Knits 2. That's DEEBEE Knits 2. DB Knits 2. This Hillary bag is yours. So I will also reach out to you over on Ravelry, and yeah, send me your info, and I would love to send both of those out this week. I have a little bit of time. This week, so that should be possible. So that's fun. I love passing things along to you all. I have one FO that I can show you, and I have three whips that we are, one, two, three. Yes, 3 whips that we're going to chat about today. So my first finished object, oh my goodness. Wait, I remember this in my head. It was 123, which means what is that? 123 is 246. Wonderful. So the first thing I have to show you all is I finished my skein of yarn from Skagit Woolen Works. And this was some of their woolen roving. It was 80% Romney and 20% mohair in the color smoke. I had two 2-ounce, they're not braids, like two 2-ounce rovings. Yeah. That I kept one of the bands, and I'm using it as a ball band. And so this is how this spun up. It's lovely. I did this kind of long draw-ish, and it's a 2-ply. And I'm a little bit obsessed with how this, I should be looking at you and not, it's got a little bit of a halo to it. It feels good. It smells good because of the wool wash. This is, what did I just say? 200, it was 200, it was 246 yards, approximately, before I washed it. I did not do another count on it, and I didn't see what weight it is. It looks to me like it is a DK, like a slight DK, sporty DK. And I'm obsessed. I love it. I think that this turned out great. I think that is enough to at least get a hat out of it. Yeah, I should be able to get a hat out of that easily. And so I think that's what I'm gonna do with this. I would love to knit this up into a hat and then take it to Flock this year so that I can, I think this place is gonna be there again. When I looked at the vendor list, I thought that they were on there. If they're there, then I would love to just, go and say, oh my gosh, I spun this from the roving that you all sell, because that is a fun thing to do when you go to these fiber festivals. So that was my only finished object, was one skein of yarn. It's funny, I just watched a video of, I don't remember the man's name, but if I remember in my brain, I will link it below. Rajiv, maybe? Is that his name? I don't know. Anyway, it's a video of, he does like a lot of different things. He's like and the videos are very well produced. Anyway, but he's talking about spinning yarn from like a fleece to yarn. My goodness. And yeah, just one of the things, or like I'm basically like paraphrasing, but like just something that he was talking about is like it takes so much time to actually do all the crafts that we're doing, right? And so like I'm saying like this is all I got done, but like also spinning up a whole skein of yarn is like so much time. But you all know that. I'm saying it out loud for myself to be like, this is a lot of time that it took you to do this. And so like, this is actually being very productive. So anywho, all right, that's all the FOs I have. If I stay on the spinning train, last episode, I showed you all some fiber that I picked up from YarnCon, and I don't know, just something was speaking to me to like immediately get it on the wheel. And so I have been doing that. I had two braids there. They were both Rambouillet. And so what I did was I weighed each braid so that I could get like a more precise number for the two, and then I divided that by 3 to like get, excuse me, oh my goodness, I'm yawning, I'm boring myself. I divided that by 3 so that I could get like a proper breakdown, because I wanted to do a 3-ply yarn. So that ended up being like each section would be around, I think it was like 2.7 ounces, 2.8 ounces. And so what I did is I separated the two braids so that I was getting about that much. And then the stuff that I took from the two became its own. So it's like a little bit of one, a little bit of the other. So the first braid, these don't have colors, but like names or anything, but the first braid had these beautiful like golds and what is that? This like burnt brown. It looks like what is that called? Brown butter. No, I want cookies. And gray, light gray and dark gray. And then the second braid was these like sort of a little bit of that burnt butter, but it's more burgundy-ish and pinks and blues. This is all I have left of this braid because I've started spinning it. And then what I did with the other two was I put them together. So I did like, I think I split those in 2. I don't remember now. Or I split them in 3. Like what I took off of the braid. And then I like, let's say I started with the gray one. I like did like wound around in gray, wound around in blue, wound around. So they go like one after the other. Yeah, I don't remember if I did 1 or if I did 2. So this one is going to be shorter breaks of the colors than this and this, which are just, I'm spinning end to end to get like those longer colors. And so this one, this is currently how that's spinning up. So we're seeing, yeah, those big blocks of colors in there. This is so fun. I'm enjoying this, and the Rambouillet is a dream to spin. It's just been very easy peasy. Sorry, my wheel is literally right here, so I'm just gonna put that bobbin back. So yeah, that's been a really great spin so far. I will say that another thing that I did in the time that we were away is I took a bunch of I took a bunch of braids of fiber, and I finally am going to start, once this project is done, I'm finally going to start my sweater spin, and that is going to be its own video. I won't talk about it too much here. I'm going to try, I don't know when this is happening, like when, part of it gets done. But I'm trying to work on like a project specific vlog, I guess. Just because I've been enjoying watching other people's little project specific videos. And so, yeah, if you have been here for a while, you know that I've been talking about wanting to do a sweater spin for a really long time. And I am finally gonna do it. So I wanted to take you along with me, but I didn't want to just like keep talking, because it's gonna be such a long process to keep talking about it here on the podcast. I figure I would just do its own video, and then that'd be that. So I separated all that, and I'm very excited about that project coming up. Knitting wise, a couple things that I've only been working on two. One, I need to clean this, but it's my Chicago Beautiful Sister bag. And this is just some leftover yarn from some woolens and nosh socks that I have already made. And so I used the remainder to start working on, why is this connected? Oh, because that's so funny. What was I talking about? Oh, I already knit these, and so I'm using the remainder to make a pair of shorties. The skein, I ran out, which I thought I would do. And so this pair of socks is like, I'm using just a brown. I don't even remember what it is. I don't have the tag anymore. And so I'm going to connect that, and I have like maybe 15 rows to do, and that will serve as the rest of my foot, because I think I really only need like 5 more rows for my foot, and then I'll put markers for my heel, and then I'll do like another 10 rows, and so that it just does a little rolled cuff to make like a little shorty ankle sock. I wish I could remember the color, but I don't. I do my socks, or I like to do my socks toe up. On a US 1, so 2.25. I start with a Turkish cast on. I increase until 68 stitches. I haven't actually cast on a pair of socks in a minute, so I almost forgot. To 68 stitches, and then I knit to about 7 3/4 of a foot before I put my markers, and then depending on if I'm doing shorties or if I'm doing a long sock, yeah, just knit away. I love this color. It's a great way to just like use up the rest of the yarn. So these have been in my backpack while I've been commuting, because, which we'll talk about in a minute, I have been listening to something, whereas for a while I was like reading on the, I mean, I still am, like actually reading like a physical book on public transit. I especially this past week was just like listening to something, and so I was working on either this or the other thing that I can't show right now, and that's been really fun. So those are almost done. They'll for sure be done by the next episode. The second thing that I've been working on is my GO Dynamo. So That is, sorry, everything is right behind the camera. That is a Stephen West shawl. It was last year's mystery knit along. I am using Fiber Hustle yarn, the color gray Gory Enchant and Dusty Sage, I believe. These are my two colors. I'm also using a third mohair, which you all will see in just a second, which is a Knit Picks color for just a couple of the sections. Sorry, this is like untangled and it's bothering me. Just to add a little pop in a couple sections, a little mohair dare. All right, so the last time you all saw this, y'all, if I'm being honest, I was on the triangle section, and as I was working on it, it dawned on me. I was like, oh, this is why you put this project down, is because I still am really enjoying it, but like I was really enjoying it, and then we got to these triangles and I'm like, oh right, you think that an applied border is tedious, and I just became uninterested. And I think that's why I initially was like, I'm not doing this, or just like, I'm gonna put this away for a minute and then I'll come back to it, and then it's been months. So in digging it back out, the last time I showed you all, I'd done like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, or like 7 additional ones from when I first started. And all right, here's where I am now. So I was at this purple marker. I've finished. So I did another 24. If I never have to do another one again, of those triangle edges or that border. And then I have picked up and started the wavy border. And so a couple of things to talk about. So like I said, this purple marker is where I was last time. So I stopped where that yellow is originally. I knit to this purple the last time you saw it, and then I finished the section. So just for transparency, and maybe this would help someone else who's working on this at some point. So this yellow marker, I don't know if you all remember, but I accidentally put one extra stitch, I believe this is the spot, one extra stitch in this triangle. And so I wanted to, remember that, because I knew I was going to do this wavy border. And I wanted to just like know where that was once I started picking up those stitches, just in case. And then if we look over here, this triangle had one less stitch. So ironically enough, I like have the right stitch count, but they were just in different places. But I wanted to make sure I was picking up this at the same rate across both. And so this one, I picked up an extra one, and that one, I skipped one to make it work. So that's that. I held the mohair, which is Knit Picks Aloft in the color Kanai, for the triangle wedges and for the brioche section. And then I think for the rest of it, I'm just going to, I might add it at the top of the shawl. I'm not really sure yet, but I kind of like I might add it to the top. I really wanted to bind off in it, but I don't think I'm gonna have enough, and I need to look through a little bin I have to see if I might have a little nubbin of something. Anywho, so in the pattern, the wavy border is supposed to be the final section of the actual shawl. And so because I knew that was going to be picking picking up, oh, sorry, the dog is right underneath me. Because I knew that that was going to involve picking up a lot of stitches, I wanted to get it out of the way first. And so I'm starting there, and then I will go back and I'll pick up these top stitches along like this, which is section 1. And then that section is going to be decreasing. So like, I'd rather do that second. While starting this wavy border, I was reading, in the pattern and some people's project notes on Ravelry saying, a couple of people had added a couple more stripes. And I was like, oh, I would love to do that if I have a lot of yarn left over, because like, I don't want leftovers. I'd rather just use as much as I can and then be done with it. And so in the pattern, I think the skeins that Steven was using were like just under 400 yards, and the skeins that I'm using are like almost 450, or around 450-ish. And so what I'm planning to do right now is I'm going to do the border as it's written in the pattern, but not bind off, and then I'm just gonna stop. And since I use interchangeable needles, I'm just gonna take those needles off, put some stoppers on, leave the cord on, get another cord, pick up the top portion of the shawl, and then finish the shawl. Weigh out the skeins and see if, I think people were saying like you need at least 10 grams per stripe. And so do the math from there, and then maybe 12. I think it's 10 grams per stripe and then 12 to bind off. I would like to give myself a little bit of a cushion there. So just once that's all said and done, I'll weigh the skeins. I will see how much is left, and if I can even add just 1 or 2 more stripes, then I will. If I can add 3 or 4, then like that's cool too. But I would like to use as much of the yarn as possible. I already know that this is going to be a very big shawl, and so by me wanting to use even more yarn, I am choosing my own adventure to make it even bigger, which I recognize, and I'm totally cool with that. So that is that. I'm really enjoying, now that those triangles are over, let me tell you, I stayed up way too late one night, just because I got the well, you only have 3 more triangles to do, rush, and I finished them, and then just in a euphoria of being like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do any more of those triangles, I just picked up all of the stitches for the next section, picked them all up, and then did a purl row back, and then went to bed. And it was quite late in the evening or very early the next day, depending on how you look at it. So yeah, I'm trying not to have late nights anymore, but I was really happy to be done with those triangles. I have a lot of ends to weave in, but that is totally okay. This project is normally also living in a Beautiful Sister bag, but right now, because I'm working on it, it is just sitting on my couch, which is right behind you. That is pretty much it. That's all I've really been working on in the past 2 weeks. Work's been kind of busy, and so yeah, I come home and I craft a little bit, but honestly, I've just been sitting on the couch and just trying to catch up with podcasts and yeah, shutting my brain off for a little bit, which has been great. Except for when I was doing those triangles the past couple of days, and I'm like, I got to get these done. All right, so that's it for the knitting content. Just 2 more things that I want to share with you all. In the last episode, I said that I would chat a little bit about the books that I'm reading. Some of you all have really been excited that I've been talking about this recently. So that's cool. I mean, we can continue to grow and do more things, right? Since the last time I was with you all, I finished The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I don't remember what I rated that on the story graph, but I thought that book was good. I want to watch the movie now. It's crazy that I missed that whole thing of that book coming out, reading it, and watching the movie. I thought that it was good. I just think that as a person who occupies this body, I feel like it is not less impactful. I just think that like I live a certain experience, and so like reading that, I was just like, oh yeah, this book is good. It like I feel like other people who don't occupy this type of body, it will give them some understanding and maybe empathy to a different population of people that roam the country that they live in. This is the best way that I'll describe reading that book. But I thought it was excellent. It reads like a film. It's YA, so like it goes pretty quickly. I was engaged the whole time. Yeah, it was good. The other book that I have been reading, and I'm about almost 80 pages into, which means I'm almost halfway done with this, is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This book, when is this due? I have to turn it back to the library soon, so I need to motor. This book is good. I'm really enjoying it. It's, again, about a son who is writing a letter to, he's in his late 20s, and he's writing a letter to his mom who can't read. She's illiterate. And wait, is that true? Yeah. As I'm reading it, I just couldn't remember if because I started reading something else, if she's blind or if she just can't read. She can't read. And it's sort of going through like family history and just like his own lived experiences. This and like his mom and grandma's experience, which is like, some of it is a little bit like trauma, but it's just like family history and like how these people came from Vietnam to get to America. So like circumstance, right? It's not a problem. My only thing about this book is if I'm reading it while I am in transit, like public transportation moves, it sways, like the train rocks, or the bus is like stopping and starting to like let passengers on. So like riding public transit, while it can be chaotic, it also has a lulling feeling to it. And because Ocean Vuong is a poet, the way that this novel is written is very lyrical. And so the combination of like his lyrical prose and me riding on public transit is like, it's putting me to sleep. Not because it's boring, it's just everything is so wavy. But I am enjoying it. And a couple people who I've seen recently who I've been holding it, just like as I'm going to the train or whatever, have been like, oh my gosh, that book, it's so amazing. Just like wait till you get to the end. And I'm like, I know, it's really great. I just got to push through. And actually I need to push through because it's due back at the library in like a week and a half. I can do it. The other book that I'm reading right now, I'm actually listening to it, is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I never had to read this book growing up, and I was gifted the book James for Christmas. I can't remember that author's name, but I know like it's been everywhere. And that book is a retelling of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn through the eyes of the enslaved person, Jim, in Huckleberry Finn. So James is a retelling of Huck Finn through the enslaved person's perspective. Anywho, so I was like, I need to read this book before I get into this other one because I want to know like what's going on, what's the vibe, and I never read them before. And so I started with The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, which was absolutely chaotic. I had lots of thoughts. I'm like, why is this an American classic? I was just like, okay, this is chaos. But I do remember kind of liking Huck's character in Tom Sawyer. And so I was like, oh, cool. This will be fun to like then read his book. And I'm like almost halfway done with that. And it's absolute chaos too. And it's a lot of the use of the N-word, like with a hard ER. That I I'm not really used to hearing in literature, I guess. And so I recognize that it is of a different time, and they are living in a certain time period and all these other things. It just, like, the first couple times it was a little, I was like, ooh, okay, that hits a little bit different in my ears. But I'm enjoying it. It's chaotic also, and I'm just like, it's just the people in this time period. What the things that y'all needed to read. I'm just like, woof, this is crazy. So I'm excited to finish that. I am enjoying it. It's cool to have two things going right now again, which is like, oh, if I'm over one, I can do the other. But I like having one that I'm listening to and one that I'm actually reading. That's been really fun as well. Anywho, so that's my little book update. And then lastly is a little music recommendation. I know I haven't done this in a couple episodes, and so I am back with one. I know that this tour has started, and I'm really trying to, like, keep my eye on tickets because I would love to go. But Kendrick Lamar and SZA are currently on tour together, and so my music rec this week is going to be SZA's first album, Ctrl. This album is amazing. If you haven't heard it, I would highly recommend it. Some songs that I would recommend off of this. If I didn't, I don't want to recommend like the bigger songs, but I'm going to at least do one. Supermodel, Pretty Little Birds, and what's my third one gonna be? And Broken Clocks. So Supermodel, Broken Clocks, and Pretty Little Birds are gonna be my music recommendation from SZA's Ctrl album. When did this come out? Oh my God, I can't read that print right now. Anywho, I love this picture. Just all the way back. That's that on that for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed. There's a lot going on. The next 2 weeks are going to be a little bit crazy for me at work, but that's all good. And by the next time I see you, it will be May. So I hope that wherever you are, your April showers are bringing May flowers, as spring is trying to come to us here in the Northern Hemisphere. I will say that here in Chicago, it is slowly starting to warm up. Oh, we had one day this past week that was 77. Honestly, I didn't even really get to enjoy it. It was a little bit gray, which is fine. I don't care about that. But like, I was stuck inside all day, but just being outside in the morning and then finishing work and going out later that evening, because I had to work late that day. It was so nice to just like step outside with no coat on and like a light sweater, and just like, yeah, it was just made me so happy. So yeah, May will be here. I need to like, now that I don't want to jinx it, but I think the snow is done. And so, you know, within the next 2 weeks, I would love to spend some time doing some repotting of plants, both in my apartment and some ones that I would like to put outside, just like on my balcony. I want to get a couple other things around the house done. It just like spring cleaning, right? It's nice to like throw open the windows, get some fresh air in, do some dusting, and get some things resituated. And so I'm gonna try to keep embracing that feeling, both in my home and with myself and with my makes, and just continue to ride the wave of creativity that's really been flourishing within me. And I can tell with like a lot of other people that I like watching here on YouTube is that, yeah, it feels to me like spring is bringing in a lot of creative energy, and I love that for all of us. So let's keep leaning into it. I feel like I've said this over the past couple episodes, but it is ringing true. Let's keep leaning into our creativity, making all of the things, you know, and listening to our bodies and creating at the speed in which our bodies are capable of making it right now. And yeah, until I see you in the next episode, make a peace, spread some peace. Peace.